Alright, I'm going to be showing you how to make a lightweight adjustable rifle sling. For this, you're going to need 2 of these nice little webbing sliders. If you're wanting your sling to have QD mounts, then you're going to need 1 or 2 of those depending on what you want to do. And of course you're going to need some webbing. For this, I'm using a really lightweight nylon webbing, 1 inch. I'm going to be putting this sling on my 22, which is a really light gun, so I'm not going to mind just using a 1 inch sling for that. Lots of slings out there are 1, pretty expensive, or 2, bulky. Neither of which I like, so it's super easy to make your own, so we can just avoid both those problems. First thing you're going to do is take your QD, or you could also just run it through any other sling attachment point that you may have on your rifle. I'm using a QD for this one, so pop that in there. This piece of webbing I'm using is 68 inches long. That's a pretty good average size. I'm an average size dude, so this will fit most people. If you run a little bigger, make it a little bit longer. If you want it to be custom fit to you, if you're a little smaller, make it a little shorter. But obviously cut it longer at first and you can trim it down later. But you can feed the sling through your loop after putting one of these little adjustment slippies on there. Feed it through your loop, and then come like you're about to tie it back off in this. Feed it through each side as if you were just creating the loop on the end of your webbing. But what you're wanting to do is put yourself plenty of slack and then push the top one back through. This is going to create your hand loop that you're going to use to adjust the length of your sling back and forth. So I'll show you a little bit closer. You're going to pull this end right here over the other end of the slider, and you're going to sew right here. So we'll grab a pin, stick in there just to show you what we're talking about, and then you can make this loop however big you want it. I want mine to be about that big. That's what we're going to be pulling on to adjust it either way. So I want my loop to be about that large. So then I'm going to pin it right here too. See, it's back to the same side that it fed in through. Or else if you put it through the other one, you wouldn't be able to move it. So see, now you have a stationary loop on the end of your sling. That to make your sling longer, you can pull that way. If you want to make it shorter, you do is pull it back the opposite way. So what you're going to do now is just pull this end through and leave the loop on there, because we're going to sew both of these right there. You can pull the one pin out of the one side, leaving just the slip on the end of the lark's head on the webbing itself. And you're going to stitch straight across there to lock that in. Okay, then once you have the slider sewed onto the end of the webbing, you can take your tail, loop it back over and through the opposite side, as seen right there. Now you're going to create the top of your pull tab. This is going to be a little bit harder because you're going to have to sew inside this loop. So you have to make sure your loop is at least big enough to be able to get into your sewing machine or your hands in there. But so yeah, you're just going to sew right across there to hold that loop together. So now we can put this back on the rifle. And like I said, I was using a QD swivel stud for the front. So there's that, but if you weren't, it would just be the exact same process to feed it through if I was just using that slot. Then on the back, if you wanted to use a QD for your back, you could just put it in here, fold it over and sew it there, but I'm just going to put it straight around the stock itself. So I'm going to put my second slider on the piece of webbing, and then feed the webbing around the stock. And to make sure it's definitely not going to go anywhere, I take the tail and put it back through the first side of that slider to make sure it's extra secure. And there you go. To adjust it to make it shorter, you just pull back on it this way, lengthen it out, you pull on it that way. And like I said, I have it set up to where when it maxes out all the way forward, that's as loose as I would possibly want it, but whenever I have it as tight as it can go on me, it's right about there, so it's still easily accessible to where I can grab it with my left hand. I don't have to reach all the way around my back. So if you make it a little bit long, all you have to do to adjust it is come down here to this end and pull yourself some more slack through until you get it the shortness that you want. Trim the extra off and fuse the end of your webbing with a lighter. So there you go.